Hey VC, how's it going? Right, okay. This is a contest entry for John and his pub jukebox contest. Show three songs that you'd play in the pub on a Saturday night. And he said this was going to go about 2 weeks, but we're way past that. We're into our fourth week, I believe, and so I'm way past the deadline. And but he hasn't closed it off yet. He hasn't wrapped it up or held a drawing or anything. So it's kind of calling to me to show something, and so I see if I can get in. See if I can get into the pub. It's too crowded in here. Anyway, three songs that I like to play in my local pub, bar, whatever. And I like to play to the crowd. I like to sort of play to what's happening in the room, or maybe what's happening in part of the room and not happening, the other side of the room isn't aware of, or something like that. I kind of like to tie it all together if I can. And so I like to play this one. This is a Van Leer Rose by, let's see if I can hold that right. There we go. That's better. By Loretta Lynn, and produced and also appearing is Jack White. I like to play this one. Sometimes the pub crowd gets a little sleepy sometimes, and they slip down into their beer a little too much. And this one, Portland, Oregon, is the track. I should also say I don't do singles. I don't do 12 inches or singles or 45s, anything like that. So these are album tracks, but I believe these were all three of these were singles, I think. Anyway, this one's Portland, Oregon has a real heavy rock riff to it that the rockers will like, and then if they're familiar with this, they'll immediately recognize it. But if they're not familiar with it, they might be. I think they'll enjoy the rock riff, but they'll also maybe be intrigued or amused that Jack White is alternating vocals with Loretta Lynn, one of the queens of country, and great song, big in your face riff, and kind of cool also up here in the Pacific Northwest, because it touches on a time period when she and her husband and kids at the time lived up here. They came up through the Northwest, and they lived in Custer, Washington, a little town way up by the U.S. Canadian border, a little one-horse town. It's like practically barely on the map, especially back then. She lived there for 14 years, and so Portland, Oregon, great song, touches on when they were up here in these parts, left Kentucky and moved to Washington State, the northwest corner of Washington State. It's like they looked at a map and said, "Let's get as far away from here as we can." And they did, lived here for 14 years, but then they did go back to Kentucky, Butcher Holler and all that stuff. Yeah, in fact, I saw her about 10 years ago, give or take, and she had an old gentleman in the front row, and she made him stand up and introduced him and said that he was one of the first, if not the first, DJ to play her records back in the day, out of a little station in Vancouver, Washington, not Canada, but Vancouver, Washington, which is closer to Oregon. I love that. I love the connection. I love that, the Queen of Country and all that Kentucky hills, Butcher Holler and all that stuff has a connection to little old Washington up here in the quiet corner. Van Leer Rose. Van Leer was the company that all the miners worked for. They owned the mine, and everybody worked for Van Leer in Kentucky. And the Van Leer Rose is a story about one of the ladies of that town. Next, sometimes in the pub, there's a guy that maybe is raising his voice a little bit and raising his head to make sure that he's heard, and everybody's hearing his wisdom, and that never fails. That guy shows up every night, whoever he may be. So it puts me in the mind of playing the Stevie Wonder track, Mr. Know-It-All. And this is on Intervisions, and Mr. Know-It-All's got a really cool kind of a spoken cadence vibe, and then an interesting kind of rhythm to the lyric, and then he, with just vocalizations, he breaks out with these sort of flourishes that sound like they would be a horn line almost, or something, but he does it vocally. Really cool song, Mr. Know-It-All, by Stevie Wonder. And then lastly, sometimes, in the pub, it just doesn't go the way you want it to, and you'd kind of like to maybe start all over again. So here's Tyrone Davis, Can I Change My Mind? That's the name of the album, and the track I think I would play, Can I Change My Mind? I would like to start all over again. This is a great soulful album. I first heard about Can I Change My Mind? I first heard that song by Delbert McClinton, Texas rhythm and blues man. And it was a good song. It had an old school kind of feel to it, but this one's way more soulful, of course. Delbert's version kind of relies on harmonica. This has horns and much more soulful singing. Great fun album. Delbert McClinton. Tyrone Davis, Can I Change My Mind? Several covers on here also, but they're really good. The first track, She's Looking Good, banger, real fast, up-tempo, hot song. I understand it was a Wilson Pickett's tune before Tyrone Davis did it. Also covers Slip Away and Let the Good Times Roll and stuff like that. And they're all good versions of those songs. Pretty well done. I enjoy this album a lot. So there it is. That's my 3 albums that I play in the Jukebox, in the Vinyl Community Pub, and I have played all 3 of these in my pub, bars, Jukebox, here in little old West Seattle. Hey, just wanted to say good job on 10 years, John, and here's to 10 more. And thanks for all the great music you've shown and played for us. Real wellspring in the vinyl community. That's it. Talk to you soon.